Very good. Now that we talked about raising numbers to different exponents, let's talk about the multiplication and division between fractions. Division of fractions. Well, suppose I have the general definition written here for you. If you have A divided by B divided by another fraction C over D, then you're going to convert this operation into multiplication by flipping the second fraction. So it's going to be A over B times D over C. Well, we converted our division into multiplication by flipping the second fraction. It's equal to AD divided by BC. Sometimes in books, they write this in complex fractions and they represent it this way. They say, hey, I have A over B. This division is nothing but the long division bar C over D. And they say, hey, now you're just multiplying the first numerator and the last denominator, AD, division bar, you copy down the division bar, and you multiply the first denominator by the second numerator, so BC. Both of these have the same meaning. A over B divided by C over D can be written as complex fraction form, A over B divided by C over D. As you can see, the results are the same. For example, suppose I ask you to do the division. I ask you to divide 3 over 4 and 5 over 9. Okay, very well. Let's follow the definition. I'm going to copy down the first fraction, 3/4. I'm going to convert division into multiplication, and I'm going to flip the second fraction, which is now 9 over 5. Very good. So the rest is the same. You're going to multiply the numerators, 3 times 9, divide by the multiplication of denominators, 4 and 5. You get 27 divided by 20. Another example for you. Suppose you're dealing with negative numbers. Suppose I have -3/4, divided by +5 over 9. This negative sign either belongs to 3 or belongs to 4. We don't know which one. That's why we put that in front of the fraction itself. If you do the division 3 over 4, you're going to get a decimal number. That decimal number has a negative sign. So what are you going to do? You're going to copy down the first number, -3 over 4. You're going to convert division into multiplication. And then you're going to flip the second number, 9 over 5. And it becomes the negative sign. You copy down the negative sign, the division bar, 3 times 9 over 4 times 5. This becomes -27 over 20. So instead of having a positive fraction, we're going to end up with a negative fraction. Another example for you. Suppose my second number is a negative number. So now I have 3/4 divided by -5/9. Very well. This guy is the same as 3/4. We're going to copy this down, 3/4. Then this division becomes multiplication. And you're going to just flip the second fraction and keep its negative sign. So copy down the negative sign. And you have 9/5. Well, the same process. You have one negative sign, copy down your negative sign, multiply 3 and 9, divide by 4 and 5, multiplication. So you get -27/20. So as you can see, it doesn't matter if your first fraction or your second fraction is a negative number, your final answer is going to be the same. So in general, negative times negative is positive. Negative times positive is negative. Positive times negative is negative, and positive times positive is positive. This is true for multiplication and also division. Negative divided by negative is positive. Negative divided by positive is negative. Positive divided by negative is negative, and finally positive divided by positive is always positive. You can represent this division as negative divided by negative, which is positive, negative divided by positive, which is negative, positive divided by negative, which is negative, and positive divided by positive, which is positive. One special case, remember that if you're dividing 0 by any non-zero number, 0 divided by a is always 0. Also 0 times a is 0. Remember these two important cases. If a is non-zero on the denominator, 0 divided by a is always 0. If you multiply any number by 0, the outcome is also 0.